welcome back
to the Melanin Murder Pod, episode number 9 coming at y'all.
Yes, you may notice that this looks a little bit different.
We have some new digs.
You know, something that's a little bit more professional than my house offers.
Your house is very classy. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I try, but this is you know, way more. So, you know.
I'm T. This is Monee. Thank y'all
Yes.
so much for joining us. If you're new, welcome to this podcast. We hope you enjoy. We're all about Black girl magic,
Yes.
getting drunk, and true crime, cults, and all things murder.
Yes.
Such a good combination, isn't it?
Exactly.
So if you're new, we hope that you're pouring up a drink, because that's what the intention is for this podcast. It's a drinking podcast. The more we talk, the more drunk we get, and the more drunk you should get too. So we're going to start this thing off the way we do every episode, and the way you should be starting whenever you listen to us is with a shot.
That's right.
Okay. So we already poured up. We got some tequila like we do every week. We've never taken any non-tequila shot.
We haven't?
Nope.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's been tequila for 9 weeks straight.
I like it because I love tequila, so we're here.
So we gonna get this shit lit for y'all, okay? We go start this thing off right. We go start this pot with a shot tonight. We gonna start this off right. We gonna start this shot with a cheers tonight. Hey,
That was a good mix
thank
right
you
there.
so
All
much.
right. Look, two-handed shot.
It gets easier. It gets easier and easier,
Yes.
guys.
Ooh, love it.
It is currently. I should keep that.
Okay.
In Houston, it is a brisk 37 degrees, and it's raining, and it's dreary. So we have been.
It fits the mood. Well, no, actually, it's like rain and sunshine at the same time this week because it's only dreary for some people. For Black people, it's been like a sunshiny day. Remember that Brady Bunch song?
Yeah. It's a good song. But, you know, our tropical asses, we're dreaming of being on a beach somewhere and
That's
not in this cold weather. So our drink today is a tribute to being in Brazil.
Out of this country.
Yes. Anywhere out of this country, preferably. But the drink
Brazil.
specifically is a Caipirinha. But for the purpose of this podcast, it's called a Killpirinha.
I like it.
Thank you so much.
I really do.
So I'm going to go ahead and get started on making this drink so we can start getting in with the shits. So I'm going to, I'm going to frolic as I normally frolic.
Yes. I really wish they didn't sue people for music.
So for our Killpirinha, I didn't have any like regular sugars, so I'm using packets. Don't judge me.
It's the same thing.
It's the same.
Yeah, don't judge her because it's the same thing.
It's
if your
all
sugar comes from a
white
packet or a bag.
sugar, okay? And it's easier.
A packet is just a
TBH.
small bag.
I told y'all it's raining. It's cold and it's raining. I didn't have time, okay? So we're using sugar
It's okay.
packets. So for the purpose of this drink, it's like about 2 teaspoons of sugar, which I assumed each packet was like a teaspoon math. So that's just what I told myself.
I agree with that. I think
Caipirinha.
that's right.
Thank you so much. You're very smart. So I assume that if you agree, that I'm right.
I agree. Yeah.
I also chose this drink because it's so easy, and I was feeling lazy today. Caipirinhas are like super good, but super easy.
Good.
And unfortunately, we don't have a shake for y'all today. There's no shake.
Okay.
I just muddle.
So instead, she's gonna do the 8-town stomp.
I'm gonna piece up. So that's all I got for y'all. I'm just gonna muddle. Like I'm gonna muddle really hard. I'm gonna muddle forcefully, and I'm just gonna just keep on. That's right. That's what we're doing. We're just muddling sugar and lime.
The 8-town stomp does go well with what I'm talking about today, though.
Beautiful. Incorporate that ATL into all of this.
Yeah.
So if you muddle it's supposed to be about one whole lime. I have 3 wedges in this glass, and you just want to muddle it really good so all the natural juices of the lime peel come out with the sugar. And muddle until the sugar is kind of like not in a paste, but it's kind of dissolved at the bottom.
Like it. Love it.
Okay. I think that's enough. I pour the rum cachaça directly into the glass without ice first so I can stir it up without the ice.
Hey, remember that song?
Stirring up. Yeah, by Drum.
Yeah,
no,
that's
wait,
what I like to
that's
say.
not what, wait.
I love
I was like, that's not what he said. That's not quite what he said.
It's a remix.
There you go. Remember when everybody was mad at Drake because he said he stole that song for Hotline Bling?
You know what? I just realized.
Did you just realize that?
Yes,
Oh
because I was
God.
like, that sounds like a Drake song.
It's definitely Hotline Bling / Cha Cha by Drum, and I love Drum.
Yeah.
So I stirred that up real quick, and then you just top it off with ice, and that's literally the drink. And then you just garnish with a little lime wedge or a lime wheel, whatever you prefer.
You said a lime witch?
Lime wedge. You garnish with a lime wedge. Lime wedge.
Oh, wedge.
Lime wedge.
Look, I learned something new every week. I thought that was cool.
Enunciate.
No, I thought a lime witch meant because you put a little, the glasses in between 2 parts of the lime, so it's a lime witch.
It's not a lime witch, but I like that term.
Thank you.
I see what kind of day this is gonna be. I'm just gonna add some more rum on top of my
Let's
drink,
do
buddy,
it.
and I'm adding
Cachaça.
on top of yours. Cachaça. That's for our ASMR.
Cachaça.
Cachaça.
Oh, they'll get some ASMR like they always do because we can't help but drink while on this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This looks beautiful.
Frolicking people. I don't even know you, Mike Stan.
Sorry.
Buy me a drink first.
We said you make your own drink. You didn't need to buy it.
just like a nigga. Mike Stans are fuck
Mike.
boys too.
Yeah, a guy's named Mike. No,
Mike,
I don't.
Mike.
I don't really know any guys named Mike.
Mikes
honestly.
are fuck boys.
Are they?
Yep, Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't.
Michael Jordan been a fuck boy.
Do you know any Mikes though? I just thought about that. How
I know
many
several
do we-
Mikes.
I've never come into contact and had a toxic situation with a Mike, so that's a good thing.
I know a fuck boy Mike.
Okay, well,
Yep.
this is for you, Mike. Cheers. This one's for you. I can't wait to try this. Did they have this drink too?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Oh,
that would be resident husband.
yeah.
It's probably strong because I added a lot of rum on
No,
top,
I like
so
it.
it's not like
This makes
sweet.
me feel like I'm on a beach, like I'm on vacation.
Good.
Yes.
That's the vibe.
Like I'm at an all-inclusive resort, and you keep ordering the same drink with rum, and you keep telling them make it a double.
Yeah, that's essentially what I
Doble,
did.
señor.
Because I
Por
made your
favor.
drink, and I remembered your drink always gets watered down, so I poured about 2 more ounces on top.
I so appreciate you.
You should be good to go.
Thank
with
you.
that drink. You're very welcome.
Thank you, my God.
So let's get into the shit, people.
Yes.
You know,
So then we're gonna get into the hot shits of the week, and
because the week has been hot shit.
hot shit. We have one really big stinky hot shit, and that comes from lots of trailer parks across the U.S. And that on Wednesday, a lot of us were working. You know,
Sponsored by
sponsored by
Alabama.
And
Peggy Sue and her brother husband,
exactly.
Bob.
So, background, if you just so happen to be in a coma and you woke up right now while you're listening to it, this is what happened.
That really sucks.
I'm sorry for that for you. I don't
No,
like
I mean,
that
not
for
their
you.
coma. I mean, that coma probably sucks, but like waking up to this shit, that definitely sucks.
So, unless you're black, then it doesn't really suck. You just like, we knew that shit. So there were, they've been planning for months the Stop the Steal protest. And Donald Jamisha Trump. No, no. He should be a Jamisha because Jamisha is too good. Donald Jericho Trump decided. Jericho seems like a trailer park type name. Yeah,
sounds racist.
Yeah, Donald Jericho Trump decided that he was in support of this. Yes, stop the steal, because the election was apparently stolen, guys. Your votes, you didn't really cast it. You probably thought you were alive, but actually you were a dead person. So he was like, yeah, guys, like, you know, I'm with you. Stop the steal. We're going to have protests all across America. We're going to march onto the Capitol. And I'm going to be with you, as he says, from Florida. And he's on the day of the protest. He's like, good job. Go there. I'm going to be with you, right? Yeah, he tells them that while he is in his office, which is the golf course of Mar-a-Lago. He was golfing in the middle of that. So that's where he's been, like, more than any other president. So we didn't expect that. So
it should happen.
All these, I keep wanting to say the wrong words for them. So all these people, you know, who have, most of them inbred, kind of, they race.
Wait.
I can't say that?
No, you can, but you can't just casually drop inbred and not, like, pause for a laugh break. God damn.
No, I mean, it's the truth. Most of them inbred, they raced out of their trailers or their houses, and they dodged all those little children's toys that are rusty and moldy in the yard. They jumped over them like hurdles, and then they got to the Capitol.
Can you please house sit my double wide while I go to the Capitol? That's what you're saying. That's what happened.
That's what they said to, like, the raccoons. And then, so they get there, right? They get there, and we see it on the news, all news channels. We see them there, and what happens?
Nothing. Actually, nothing happened.
You're right.
Nothing happened.
Nothing. I mean, they're out there, you know, they call themselves the Patriots. So, of course, they're out there with Confederate flags and KKK flags. And the majority of the flags, because you're a patriot, right, are Trump flags, because that makes sense. Yeah.
Isn't a Confederate flag a Trump flag?
Essentially, I think. And the KKK
Isn't the American flag a Trump flag?
Sometimes they have, right now,
I'm pretty sure.
That's true.
It's the same thing.
Oh,
synonymous.
But you know they have the American flag that now that they like, that's like black and white, and it has a blue stripe throughout.
That's the Blue Lives Matter, excuse me, flag. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to go get into that, because speaking of them, you know, they were there and basically escorting these people in, helping them up the steps, helping them get in. We know some people they started climbing, but then after the Capitol Police saw them climbing, they're working so hard. We should help them. So, you know, they just kind of moved barriers for them. They took selfies with them.
Like that.
Now, what I noticed when I was watching, that there was a significant tooth-to-person ratio that was off. No.
Okay.
I thought it was off. I lived in DC for 8 years, never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like that.
I'm sorry. Of everything I've heard about everything that happened this week, I have not heard about the tooth-to-person ratio.
Look it up. Look at pictures.
It was lacking. The teeth were lacking, is what you're saying. There was a lot of people, but not a lot of teeth.
Not enough teeth for the amount of people that were there.
God,
I'm saying.
that is a travesty.
Look at the pictures.
Wow.
Did you see enough teeth per person there?
No, I didn't. I didn't see enough teeth. Continue.
You cannot tell me. See, you do such a good job with these damn videos. I hope you put these pictures of these people in here. You cannot tell me that someone with no arms and no legs was stealthy enough to get into the Capitol, past all those police, in a wheelchair. with somebody pushing a wheelchair.
I'm not laughing.
I mean,
I have something in my trachea. I have something in my trachea.
Can I tell you though? When I searched, I was trying to find a picture of that lady with no arms and no legs. God, please forgive me. Please don't strike me down right now, because it's not my fault. I didn't say this. When I searched it, I was trying to find her. I said no arms, no legs, Trump supporter. I tried to find it.
Did a lot of pictures pop up?
Because Kyle didn't. I was telling my husband this, and I couldn't find a picture because he didn't see it, right? And then no, it was like related searches, and people were searching nugget people.
Wait, okay, all right. I have to say, while we're off topic, while we're on the subject of going to hell, bad jokes about people. Did you? Yeah. I was in tears at the jokes about. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Jesus.
No, that's where this is going next.
Please don't strike me dead too.
Memes.
Wait, no, about the lady. I promise y'all. I'm sorry. The one that died.
Oh yeah.
Dog, bro. Because I don't know if it was like a troll account or something, but there was this one account that actually tweeted a picture of the white lady, the one that actually died from a gunshot wound, and she was on the stretcher. I don't know if she was dead or alive at that point, but she's on the stretcher, and she's like bleeding, blood is coming out of her mouth, and somebody tweeted, and they were like, say her name. Her name was whatever the fuck her name was. I'm not saying her name, but but girl, the quote tweets on that tweet were hilarious. It was like mad people retweeting it, not talking about shit. People were like, so anyway, the Warriors play tonight. Who y'all got? This girl, just one girl retweeted, and she was like, anyway, I'm just over here doing hot girl shit, like breathing.
Yeah.
Unlike her. I was like,
the curling championships are tonight.
No,
y'all
like
watching it.
The shit was so funny. The one that got me was somebody, you know how like in black families, if there's like a gay person, the black family is always like, is he a little, and they do the wrist thing, wrist. So the dead girl, I don't know if she's dead or alive, but she's on the ground, but her hand was like this. Girl, somebody retweeted it.
I already know where this is going.
They cut her hand out and put a caption and was like, is she a little, with the wrist? I was like, bro, these are hilarious. Keep it going. Anyway,
I don't want to be
I was sorry to interrupt, but if you haven't like scrolled Twitter.
So, you want to talk about anything more about that fuck shit that happened?
There's nothing else that needs to be said. Literally everybody except those people that have been in a coma. Sorry to y'all. They already seen, heard. Yeah. They're all caught up.
A bad week for white people. They were very embarrassed and sad, or very stupid. A lot of them. So now the FBI is trying to get our help, because obviously they can't find these people's social medias to identify them, where they're like, oh my God, yes, I'm John from Kentucky, and I broke into Nancy Pelosi's office, and I stole a piece of her mail, but I left her 25 cents, so you can't judge me. You can't arrest me for that. That really did happen to that guy, like Richard Bimman, Richard, what's the nickname for Richard?
Dick.
There you go. There you go. That's true.
Why am
So moving on to the second hot topic.
Why did you set me up like that? Like, because I was going to deliver.
I knew you were going to deliver. Because I know it's Dick. Like, I don't know. I don't be watching like basketball like that, but I know that I can depend on you. So I knew if I would like send it to you, that you would.
She threw your thing. Yeah, you threw it up. I sent that shit down.
Does that mean I have an assist?
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
My girl.
I do know stuff about some stuff, like basic stuff about sports.
Bitch, don't play with me right now.
You like me? Are you proud of me?
I'm so proud. I'm literally in tears right now. She said, does this mean I have an assist? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That is an assist.
Put that on my record.
Okay, it's over. Fun's over, guys.
This is very short hot topics today because I only have two. It was the white fuck shit.
God, that's what it should be called in history books. The white fuck shit.
For real. For real. And then bullet points after that with
the white fuck shit. Yeah. Actually, that is the whole history book, the white fuck shit.
Ooh, Girl, yes. And I'm going to get into that. How the cookie, should I say the cracker crumbles, or that's how the cracker cracks.
Okay. Are we talking about crack? We talking about white people?
Black people don't crack. Black don't crack.
I wasn't sure if we was talking about crack.
They crumble. They crumble very
crack
easy.
Is crack. I wasn't sure if we was talking about crack too, because I don't know. Because crack, crack is crack. Crack is whack, but crack be a thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't sure what you was
from the crack
going
of the
into. Because I know a true crime story that has something to do with crack. Like, I wasn't, I wasn't sure.
I mean, but there's lots of crack up in there and shit. But
say crack again.
Crack. That's crack.
That's Mean Girls for y'all. If you're Mean Girls fans. Say crack again.
But that's it for the hot topics. We gonna get into our
murder.
It's murder. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try to say it in a Ashanti voice. It's murder. Wait, no, I can't. Okay, whatever.
Well, nobody can say it in an Ashanti voice. She can't sing, so we love you, Ashanti.
I wouldn't say that. I love Ashanti. Ashanti, I love you because
I love you, Ashanti, too. But that don't mean she can sing.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
By the way,
exactly.
Hasn't that been rescheduled?
It got postponed again because COVID allegedly. I don't know. Like, I don't have time for this.
Okay.
We about to be back to Teddy Riley times where ain't nobody got no internet. People's on dial-up. Like, just do it from home. Just FaceTime and do the thing. Like,
that's
we tired at this point.
Yeah, so moving on.
Go into
okay. We gotta talk. Going into that.
Go into your murder.
I wanted to.
It's murder night.
It's murder night. In my Miss Mississippi voice, and we're going into. I'm talking this week about the Atlanta child murders because I was inspired by Mr. James Baldwin.
Shout out to Andre 3000.
Yes,
just because.
Always.
Well, just like anytime and always. But honestly, TBH. Every time I think of the Atlanta child murders, I think of Andre 3000's verse on Travis Scott.
I think about him a lot too.
Because that was so random to me. Like, from Birds in the Trap. Like, the song started and Travis is like vibing, and then 3K comes in and his entire verse is about the Atlanta child murders. And it's like, damn. But damn.
So if you didn't know that, now you know.
Now you know.
Check it.
The entire verse. Because, people don't really be listening. If you listen, you would know that that's what the verse is about.
So he was alive during that time, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
So,
like, everything he says
it
in
affected
there
a lot of black Atlanta children that grew up around that time. If you're around that age range, it could be very traumatic for you because it did change your...
Do you watch
the way they lived?
What you call them?
The what?
On Netflix. I can't think of the name of the show.
So there's a 5-part document. No. Oh, no. I was talking about HBO. Yeah.
What is the name of the show?
Stupid. On Netflix?
I'm talking to myself. There's only 2 seasons, but it's about how oh my God, what is wrong with my brain on alcohol? It's about how
what's it about?
I was about to say serial killer unit. Mindhunter.
Do
you watch Mindhunter? Because season 2 is all about the Atlanta child murders.
Deadly. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But I got some info for you. If you never heard of the Atlanta child murders,
please go into your story.
You about to hear about it now. So, Atlanta child murders. Let's go back to 1978 to 1981. Lots of good soulful music. That's right. Lots of vibes. Also, lots of. You're coming right after we've basically just got desegregated in a lot of places. So. But black people, we come through for anything. So anywho, 1978 to 1981, there was about 30 people, most of them being children, 28 of them being children, killed within that time. If you go back to that time, Atlanta always has a saying. Atlanta has a saying that they were supposed to be the city that's too busy to hate. Nigga, we know right now that, like, the suburbs, you go anywhere outside that you're still in Georgia, okay? We understand. We're from the South, so we understand.
From the
so
South. I'm a real ass rich
bitch from the South. But Atlanta is this kind of great built up city with all of these great black things there. I honestly feel like this part of Atlanta history, the way it unfolded, kind of, they suppress these things to allow for those things to happen. So, anywho, there was a separation of class even within the black community. So in the black community, obviously we didn't have upper class, but there was middle class, there was working class, and then there was the very poor. During that time, you had the first black mayor of Atlanta, Miss Mayor Maynard Jackson. So people were very excited about that. He had a great following. He spoke about really integrating the city. Mm-hmm. He specifically talked about the police force and how it was too white. In fact, during that time, if you were a black police officer and someone white committed a crime and you saw them, you could not arrest them. You couldn't. You had to report it to your white superior, and they had to get them arrested. So that tells you how fucked up that was. But Mayor Maynard Jackson was like, there needs to be more integration. We got to fix this. He gets more black people into the police force. And also there is, during his tenure, he has a black commissioner, a black police commissioner. Mm-hmm. So, police chief. So, those in poverty were excited initially, but they were a bit discouraged after when they realized things were pretty much the same for them, even after Mayor Maynard Jackson came in. And I will say, I mean, it's not all on him. Like, that's a lot to put on one person. There's a lot of moving pieces in government, and all of those things have to be aligned with you. And being the first black person to do that, you have a lot against you, working against you. But anywho, keep it moving. There are they first noticed a few children became missing, and then a few days later were turned up dead, typically with their clothes seemingly like placed on them again in kind of wooded areas. And nobody really paid attention to that because only a few. And then after that, there was a bombing that happened at what's called Bowen Home. You remember that? Mm-hmm. So Bowen Home was the bombing of a daycare. And that daycare bombing killed 4 black babies, 4 black children, and the teacher. And that's what was kind of the last straw for the black community in that area. So when that happened, they came upset. They kind of turned against Mayor Maynard Jackson, and it kind of turned black people against black people, right? Mm-hmm. But they wanted justice. Like, their babies are being killed, our babies are being killed, and nothing's being done about it. So in the neighborhood, they started developing task force with black men that were kind of like, older black men in the neighborhood, not too old, but enough to like beat your ass, like in their 30s and stuff. And they were policing people that came in and out of their neighborhood, seeing like, okay, you a milkman, you what, like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? Like, they were very protective of the children, as they should be. After these things were happening, it seemed like
and nobody was doing anything. They felt like nobody was helping, and so they weren't. There
was tension between those self-formed task force and the police.
Would you like
obviously,
more rum or tequila?
Of course, I'll take more cachaça. So,
give me 5 minutes. And no problem. Get it for you.
So then, the police felt a way about that. So then more and more children, even after that bombing, were found dead with the same MO. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they were found dead with this. Lots more children were found dead with the same MO. So the children found dead with the same MO. For forensics then started looking into this. They found green carpet fibers on a lot of the bodies. And then the FBI got involved. And they developed a task force. However, they had this list of about 28 people. And the people that they have on that list, although there could have been more kids that have been murdered, they put these on the list to kind of appease the mothers of those children. So because of the fibers, though, they thought that this had to be a single person because they found multiple with those fibers. They were like, this comes from a single location. You find the location, we find the killer, right?
Dun, dun, dun. Dun,
So
dun, dun.
that about the fibers was in the news. So then after that, bodies started turning up in the Chattahoochee River.
With
right?
no fibers.
Well, to wash away that evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
However, some of them still had the fibers. We'll get to it. So also, the new bodies that were found after that news report came out were men that were older, that are around 20 to 27, which were a little bit different, didn't quite fit that MO. So then the police were like, okay, we're going to surveil all the bridges in Atlanta. That's a lot, or at least all of them that were on the Chattahoochee River. So then they had like police wait at the bottom of it at all times. And on one of those days, they hear a splash at 3 a.m. So then the police call in, and they're like, they see headlights. They stop the car. It was a car moving very, very slow. And they thought that, and the person that they that they spoke to that was in that car was Mr. Wayne Williams. He was a 23-year-old male from Atlanta.
I didn't realize he was so young.
He was 23 years old. He was a man from Atlanta. His parents, Homer Williams, and his mom, they were, Homer was a photographer that was well respected in the community. His mom was a school teacher. So they were kind of like the upper class of the black people. And well, Homer was very small. He was giving very much so Urkel vibes, guys. He had like the glasses. He was 5'7".
Big glasses.
You know, he had a little fro and whatnot. And Homer might have been a little, Wayne was a little bit weird. And he would get like a lot of the kids in the neighborhood and say like, oh, I'm gonna make you a star. I'm gonna make you the next Michael Jackson. Okay, okay. I'll make you the next Michael Jackson. So he would get those kids, he would recruit them to their house. He had a little studio in his house. And then also, so a lot of the kids, so some of the kids that were found dead ended up having a connection to Wayne because they were like part of him trying to be a talent scout. So they met with Wayne before. Also, there was one little girl in, most of them were boys, but there was one little girl, excuse me, that was found dead. And she happened to be Wayne's, one of Wayne's kind of neighbors, and everybody, all the black people knew each other in the neighborhood. When they found the little girl dead, she was in one of the neighbors' yards. It was like lots of acres of land. And the daughter of the man that had all those acres of land said, you know, she knew Wayne, she knew his family. You know, Wayne actually went to help search for that little girl. And they really didn't think Wayne did it.
Yeah.
That little girl was stolen out of her bedroom through the window at night and then found across the street in that big buried forest. By the way, police had searched it on, say, a Friday, and then the neighborhood people went search it the next day and they found the body. They said that the police said they did a thorough search and they didn't found it.
That's one of the things too, like in crime, like police will look for somebody that inserts themselves into the investigation.
So going into that, that's perfect. So Wayne was like one of those crime scene photographers. There's a movie on Netflix that's like Nightcrawler. Well, no, like, yeah, it's not on Netflix, but it was
I know what you're talking about with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes, Jake Gyllenhaal, and he like follows crime scenes and stuff. It's kind of creepy.
Yes, it is creepy.
So Wayne was kind of like that guy. He followed crime scenes and he would take pictures of them. So he had a police CB monitor in his car, and not only that, he had like little blue lights. So he would follow whatever crimes that would happen. And even one time he got arrested because they said he was impersonating a police officer.
Oh, okay.
But that was a while back. However, no race is typically recorded in those crimes for whatever reason. Probably because it's most likely done by white people. So they don't really
They weren't looking.
Check those things. So anyway.
And black serial killers are so rare in the scope of serial killers.
But for whatever reason, people think that, we be killing like everybody. But whatever. So anywho, that they didn't have enough to arrest Wayne after they found him on the bridge, so they let him go. Specifically, they were like, oh, he had gloves in his car, and Wayne says that there was initial police that stops him, and the police that was saying that does say the account, there was two sets of police that came up on him. The first police that stopped him, that was surveilling the bridge, they stopped him, and he said that police he had gloves in his glove compartment. Glove compartment. I mean, it's called a glove compartment. So he takes it out of that and puts it on.
Is that why?
Maybe why? I don't know. Right? Just thought about that. But he had gloves in the glove compartment.
For cold climates? Are you literally supposed to keep gloves in there?
I think you're supposed to keep gloves in there. I think so.
So you get in your car
and put gloves in it.
And you're like, let me open this compartment.
I need to put somewhere. I need somewhere to put my gloves.
Bam.
Look, this compartment is perfect for this. Let's call it a glove compartment. But it took it out of there and he put it on the seat. So then the second, because he said they heard that splash, so then a second group of policemen came and he was like, they found it while the other police had put it on there. And then they also found a nylon rope. And nylon fibers were found around some of those people. Yeah. However, the nylon rope, he's like, oh, wouldn't this be great to strangle people? And then Wayne says, seriously? And then Wayne says, well, remember where you found that, because you found that not in my car, you found that in the grass outside. So
dumbass, smartass.
Yeah. So then we move on to 2 days later. After all of that commotion, body washes up, and it's Nathaniel Cater, who's 27 years old, and he's found a mile and a half down the river from the bridge. However, so after they found that, they bring Wayne back in there and into the police station, and they interview him and they do a lie detector test, and he does have spikes on there. And Wayne is asking, like, what are those spikes? And they're like, oh, that's the questions that we asked. Did you kill Nathaniel Cater and this other guy? And he was like, at that point, I knew I was going to jail. So anyway, Wayne is a little bit weird. I'm not even going to lie. Like, Wayne says, like, he feels like he's in this position because he made some fucked up decisions. But that's it. Also, they searched Wayne's house after that. Forensics went in. They found that green carpet fiber on Cater's body. They went to the house. They saw the green carpet. They also found a slapjack, which is something that is like with leather. It seems like very BDSM. It's
I was about to ask. I was like, this.
It's like it's leather and it has like lead in the middle of it, but it is covered with leather. And it's something you like hit people with. But you could definitely like apparently, because the lead is so heavy, like knock somebody out. So they found that in like one of the things of the ceiling, like the tiles of the ceiling, and then also found a lot of pictures of young adult men and boys, but those were the people like from his scouting people.
Yeah.
However, that earlier morning, neighbors accounted that he was burned. Him and his dad were out burning pictures.
Oh my gosh.
On the barbecue. So, anywho. Wayne holds this weird press conference after that, and he hands out to all the people that are at the press conference his resume. And on his resume, it has lies. So Wayne is just a weird guy. It says that he's a pilot. He can fly. It says a lot of weird. Oh, it says that he's a pro race car racer.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah.
So, Wayne was a little bit weird, but
he was a serial killer.
His defense lawyer, who was this black woman, says that, he was weird and she frustrated the fuck out of him. He was hard to love, but she didn't believe he was a killer. So on 6/21/81, he was charged. It was Father's Day, 1981. He was charged with the murders of Cater, Mr. Cater, and Jimmy Payne. Kids and parents are still nervous because they're like, there's so many kids and parents, and like their stories just don't add up. They don't believe that Wayne is the killer of their children, because you're talking about two adult men and you're ignoring our children. Like, that still doesn't tell us, even though you want us to attribute that to them, but they feel like he didn't kill their children. So then, anywho, and one of the brothers on there states that one of the brothers of the victim states that he saw Wayne coming up on the stairs when he went to the candy lady one day, and he saw the guy coming up the stairs slow, and it scared him, so he went in, and he swears it was Wayne Williams. But anywho, Wayne goes to trial. There's some doubt because Nathaniel Cater's body had been in the water for at least 5 days. They found it 2 days after,
but no evidence on the body.
The autopsy shows water at very least 5 days. So he couldn't have dropped it 2 days ago. But they kind of left that out also. And there was for Jimmy Payne, it seems that he was alive when he died. Like, he might have drowned, and he also had on swimming trunks. So, the actual cause of death was that he drowned, and after Wayne was arrested, the cause of death was changed to murder.
Okay.
Boo. So then,
and if you know serial killers, you know they have, like, they stick to their MO and their victim type. So it's very rare for, like, if you kill kids, unless somebody happened to get in the way of you killing one of those kids or something, like, yeah, then you'll have an adult victim. But 2, that's just like out of pocket. Like, whatever your victim range is, if it's white brunette women between 25 to 30, all 5 of that killer's victims are going to be white brunette women between 25 to 30. And then you're not going to have 2 black men in there. Right. Like, that's not a thing. So I get what you're saying.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, unless your MO is something broad like black people.
Just black.
So anywho, when the prosecution is like really unfair. They have the FBI behind their back. By the way, Wayne's lawyer is a black woman who's kind of working alone. She kind of got this other guy with her. Wayne's family only could put up about $5,000 to help. The FBI is working with literally $2 million.
Damn.
$2 million. So then the FBI or the prosecution then gets in a couple of things. They say, oh, by the way, one day we're going to add 10 other murders to this case because of pattern. And the judge, who was randomly selected by this computer system in 1981, was a black guy, the first black Superior Court judge in Atlanta or Georgia, whatever. And they thought that, to me, it seems like you're just trying to turn black people against black people again, right? Anywho, so that judge was like, allowed the prosecution to bring in that those other 10 murders on like fact of pattern. And the last time that happened was in the 1800s. Like a long time ago. Yeah. So there was like, there's a pattern. There's 10 other murders that we can bring in here that we think he did to convict him on these 2. Which all those 10 were on that FBI list, but they were children, and we're talking about 2 adults. Okay? So the judge allowed that. That wasn't necessarily fair in a sense. And let me talk, and not only that, the prosecution brought in some eyewitnesses. Let me show you their eyewitnesses. So their eyewitnesses
are never reliable.
Girl. Their eyewitnesses was one, Bobby Toland, this white guy who was in the ambulance, EMS person.
Girl,
I should know this because I'm a healthcare child. But an EMS person, who said that he knew Wayne, but and Wayne was a racist and he hated poor black people. He wanted to eradicate poor black people. Their other witness was a Sharon Blakely, who was a friend of Wayne, who said he often complained of the street kids and said he could strangle them very quietly, and she said that he did the murders. So then Wayne was convicted. The task force then figured it was him that did all the child murders, and they shut all those cases down. He was convicted on those 2 murders, and they shut down the cases of all 28 kids. And there's likely even more, which is just like so fucking annoying. So then those cases turned into cold cases. Williams, not even cold cases, closed case, because they assumed that Wayne did it. So then he was convicted. Wayne tried to appeal, and his appealing lawyer found that there was 33 points of error in the trial, mainly with the witnesses, because, child, Bobby Toland, the white EMS guy, turns out he testified under the wrong name, and he claimed he just wanted the reward money. Okay? And that he hated Wayne. He knew Wayne, but he hated him. And how about this? Bobby was a fucking Klan member.
Gasp.
Yeah, not surprised. And then carpet fibers, they felt like these carpet fibers were very rare. Prosecution said it was very rare because it came from this South Carolina company, and they said it was only sent to Georgia. In Georgia, there are probably only with like 82 rooms that had this carpet. It was extremely rare. However, it turns out that they only got partial sales reports, and that was everything that they said was just assumption. But they placed it in trial like it was facts. That unfortunately Wayne's trial appeal was denied, which is fucked up. And because there was so much fucked up there, but because you have to go to the Superior Court, the Supreme Court in Georgia. However, one of those judges, Judge George Smith, did believe that Wayne was wrong, and he said that the other judges believed that also. However, that Smith told Wayne's appeal lawyer that a lot of the other judges turned because they received a call from someone real high up. Mm-hmm. Like basically bribing them or putting them in a bad situation where they had to do it to avoid that. And that person, also the appeal lawyer, believes that call came from either the governor of Georgia,
gasp,
Vice President George Bush at the time,
gasp,
Senior, or the fucking president at the time, Reagan.
Gasp, gasp.
Child.
Me, myself, believe that any of them would do such a thing.
So to come to a close, the eyewitnesses saw someone, there then turned out to be people after that. There were eyewitnesses that saw like one of the kids that was killed, Miss Clifford Jones, who was only about 11 years. He was so young. Mm-hmm. But it was never fully investigated. But the police had the information. There was an eyewitness that stated that James Edward Brooks, which was a known sex offender, saw he was at a laundromat and saw this guy, James Brooks, and another guy sexually assault this kid at the laundromat. I won't get into the details, but he describes the details. And the thing is about what was found on the body of that child and what he described was likely what happened. Like, it's too graphic for me to mention, and I'd probably start crying, y'all. So the eyewitness name was Fred Crosby, and the police discounted his statement because they thought he was just slow. That was the reason they discounted it, because they thought he was a slow thinker. So, anywho, that little boy ended up having the fibers on him also. However, in the pattern cases that got Wayne convicted, He wasn't even one of those fucking cases. He wasn't even in one of the pattern cases. Although the pattern cases were built on these had fiber, they didn't include this one kid who had fibers. Because that would make their whole thing fall apart.
Yeah.
Because they didn't follow up on leads with not only that child, but also other people in the neighborhood that lived around that laundromat that thought they saw James, the same guy, dumping something in that garbage can, which is where Clifford was found. So anyway, the appeal lawyer, later on, also after his appeal was denied, the appeal lawyer still got information. Someone dropped off anonymously information about an investigation into the KKK. There was called a GBI unit, and it was about these brothers called the Sanders brothers, and they were drug heads. The GBI units were looking into the KKK. And they had an informant, a person going in that they kind of knew that they would try to recruit into the KKK. They had him wear a wire. So they had all these recorded conversations. And on a recorded conversation, one of these Sanders brothers, by the way, led this guy down to their basement. And the informant says that he saw police uniforms. He saw Coca-Cola uniforms. He saw uniforms from all of these places, which could make them invisible and able to steal these kids. On tape, they have one of the Sanders brothers saying that he killed one of those kids, a little boy named Luby Jeter, who ran into his car in a little kind of little play car, and he got mad. So he said on tape that he killed the little boy, the little Jeter boy. He said the boy's name. He said the Jeter boy because it showed up on the news, and he said it. He said he was going to choke him with his dick and put him on the grave of MLK.
Oh, God.
And Jeter was one of those 10 pattern cases. So during that time, they kind of brought that up with another appeal, or not another appeal, but kind of in a different case, still going after the the Klansmen. And the commissioner, who was a black man, and the task force supervisor from the FBI said that they didn't recall that information because the informant went to the commissioner and told him about what that guy said, that admission of that murder. And they said they don't recall that. And then later, one of the people even said that it was on the conversation happened on April Fool's, so they didn't know if it was right or not.
Because that happens.
So here's the thing, how the fuck can you say that there's bias? There's not any bias when it comes to black people and white people when you have a full fucking Klansman just outwardly saying that he killed a little black boy and saying something so vulgar like that. He also mentioned to the informant that they killed lots of niggers. That was their thing. They like to kill niggers. Think about that bombing at that daycare. Do you really think Wayne did that shit? Now, not to say Wayne wasn't a weird guy and he wasn't into some weird shit, but did he kill all of those children? I think it had to be more than that. I do think the KKK was involved in that. Not only that, when the mothers of those children that were slain would meet every week, there was a white man at one point, this black guy who's probably about 40 now. He stated that he remembers them being at a meeting with his mom, and they thought he broke the window and threw, but it was a brick that was thrown through one of their meetings, and it had a note on it that said, "I'll kill all you niggas." And he saw this white man. He pointed to him. So I'm just saying. Those Atlanta child murders were pinned on Wayne Williams, a black man, to shut it down. And a lot of people say it was done to avoid riots across Atlanta and America.
Oh my golly, that sounds so familiar.
Avoid
to 2021.
fucking riots. Because if riots would happen, then that would kind of be a stain on their city, and it would be a stain on America. Also, in 2014, not too long ago, the lab in J. Edgar Hoover building, the one who I mentioned at the beginning of the story, was also
FBI.
found to be the appeal lawyer of Mr. Wayne. Got a note from them saying that, like, oh, by the way, your client's case may have been compromised because we do realize that the building was really old and it was trash, and every time the air conditioning system, it wouldn't work sometimes, but when it would kick back on, it would blow fibers into the area where fibers were being examined. And we have your person who was convicted mainly on a case of fiber evidence. So sorry.
Not blowing fibers into the fiber area.
So, anywho, it's funny because they didn't want to do that to make Atlanta what it is, to build up our country, because they were scared of riots. And look what the fuck happened. White supremacy is very fragile. Or should I say it has its cracks.
Crackers.
Yeah. And that's the end of my stories. I'm going to just drink and listen to your story.
You should drink. You should drink. Let me get comfortable for my story. Can I take my heels off? I just don't want to. Brian, can I put my feet on your couch?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Typically, we don't have shoes, but people can't see that. I'm going to put my feet up
now because I got permission. You guys, you know, after the events of this week, because of the Trump cult, I wanted to talk about a cult because why not? And I read this interesting quote from somebody. I was reading about some cult, and she wrote about some cult, but her quote was like so on point for the Trumpists that I was like, yes, I have to talk about a cult. She was like, when I was a kid, I couldn't understand how a person could brainwash a whole group of people to such an extreme that they'd abandon everything they've ever known and lose their grasp on the difference between good and evil. Learning about the sexual, physical, and psychological abuse, which I believe Trump has done all of those, that took place in various infamous cults sent shivers down my spine. That's pretty much it. But she's like, there's something fascinating about how good, innocent people can get sucked into such a dangerous mindset. So that's our intro to a cult. My cult today is the Church of the Lamb of God.
Ooh, I like that one.
Girl. So the Church of the Lamb of God, and forgive me, I have to like look into my phone because these church names belong from these cult leaders. It was founded, it was a Mormon church. So this is a polygamous sect in Mexico.
Oh God.
Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was kind of mad that I didn't know about
Very
this
different.
when we were in Mexico and we did our podcast out there. But it was founded by a guy named Ervil LeBaron. I don't know what was going on with Ervil's family, y'all. But Ervil was a cult leader in this situation, and he claimed himself a prophet and the very one person that God sent to this earth for whatever, saving the earth, I don't know. But he had 3 brothers, and apparently all of those brothers also proclaimed themselves as the one sent down from God to save earth as well, including his brother Joel.
All the brothers.
All of them, including his brother Joel. So he grew up, him and his brothers grew up religious. But in 1950, Ervil was kicked out of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints because of him practicing polygamy. And they were like, no, we don't do that anymore. We did that in the 1800s. We don't do that anymore. And he's like,
we did that 5 years ago.
Yeah, no. Well, this was basically. He's like, fuck you. I'm going to go start my own cult. And so he started his own shit, which is the lamb chop. I don't know. But he moved to Mexico, right? So that happened.
Lamb chops, sing along.
Exactly. So the Church of... What was the shit called? Church of the Lamb of God. Mm-hmm. They were based in Mexico. Girl, Future, I'm about to bring you back then.
No.
Sensational.
Why does
Future ain't have shit on Ervil, girl. Ervil had over 50 children with 13 sister wives.
Oh my God.
in Mexico, and they were at this compound called Los Molinos. So he had his sister wives there at his compound called Los Molinos, and all his disciples, and blah 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 blah. And what they didn't know at the time was that he was wanted by the FBI and the Mexican police. So he, like I said, he had over 50 children at the time. They basically used their children as slaves. Oh. They were like 10 and 11 years old, and they used to work them like at a auto shop and all type of stuff. And they didn't pay them for their like child labor and shit like that. And obviously there was a hierarchy of boys versus girl children, and the girl children were groomed to be wives to these grown-ass men when they were a marriable age in this cult being 15 years old. And what's his name? Ervil believed in blood atonement, which meant that he could order a hit on somebody and be like, yo, Jesus had told me you gotta die, but I'm helping you get to heaven, broski. And he would be like, oh, you're right, and send me to heaven. And so he could kill people, and they would listen, and his disciples would help him kill people because they were like, oh, God said that he has to kill people. Kind of fast forward a little bit. He ended up being caught. It's never been publicized how he got caught, but the FBI caught him, and he was thrown in jail for the murder of a fellow polygamist in Utah. He murdered him because
oh my God.
He murdered him because Ervil was he was a scammer, basically, as are most cult leaders. He was trying to get him in on a money scheme of, I don't know, like some money scam. Honestly, I can't remember, this guy in Utah, and he was like, no. And so he killed him. And so that's how he got caught.
Also, do you know, fun fact, that Utah, with all like the Mormon community, there's a lot of like multi-level marketing schemes there.
Yes,
like
because we said multi-level pyramid schemes are a cult. We said that on our very first episode.
On this, and this one guy that came up with this part of the Bible that was just meant for him.
Yeah.
Then you can believe in like this essential oil that's going to work for you. So.
Exactly. So that's how he got caught. He killed this guy. A little backtracking, his brother Joel, that was like a church leader, he actually killed him too, because his brother Joel was like, no, like they were trying to like I said, Ervil was a scammer, and their Los Molinos compound, he was trying to turn into a beach resort. And his brother was like,
it sounds like that.
His brother was like, no.
It sounds like I can get unlimited, like it sounds like an all-inclusive resort.
Exactly. And his brother was like, no. So he killed his brother. And no, dead ass. That's what happened.
Say, you don't want these all-inclusive drinks.
Yeah. So he went to jail. He ended up dying in jail of a seizure in 1981. However, that did not stop the terror that he rained on his followers and other people. So, like I said, this motherfucker had 50 children, right? One of them was his daughter named Anna. Anna ended up from Mexico to Houston. She was living in Houston with her half-sister Lillian and Lillian's husband Mark. One of their other so Lillian and Mark were also disciples of Ervil, but after he went to jail, they were unbrainwashed all of a sudden, and they just joined a regular church, and they were like, oh my God, this dude was crazy. One of their other followers, his name was Diane. Diane came down and was like, hey, daughter, Anna. He's like, hey, you and your mom, y'all got to come with me to Denver, and we got to carry on what we were doing. And the mom was like super easy to be talked into the bullshit. And she was like, oh my God, okay, I'll totally go with you to Denver.
The mom was a dumb bitch.
And be a sister wife and all that shit. But the daughter, she was 13 at the time. And she's like, oh my God, no, I don't want to go. So Lillian, her half sister, hid her in a motel room and was like, I got you. And basically saved her wife because her wife.
Got you.
Actually, no, same thing.
Saved her from being a wife.
Because their marriageable age was 15. She was 13 at the time. So if she would have went to Denver, she would have been a wife at the age of 15. So she was like, oh, I'm forever indebted to Lillian and Mark. I want to like live with y'all, like blah, 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 blah. Like they were her guardians at the time. And she thought like she was going to be living with them for a really long time. Okay. Little did they know that Ervil wrote a hit list from jail. A list of names of over 50 people, right? So Diane, the dude I mentioned before that was like, hey, you and your mama got to come with me to Denver. He was randomly murdered. I don't know. Yeah. So Mark, Lillian's husband, knew that he probably was up next, and he knew that he was on the list because Ervil instructed his disciples to break him out of jail with, quote, guns a-blazing. That's exactly what he told him. That's exactly what he told him. He was like, y'all got to bust me out this joint, guns a-blazing. And the ones that were like, nah, B, that's a lot. He was like, okay, kill him. So there was one day, the media calls them the 4 o'clock murders. One day at 4 o'clock, all these men just got murdered. Like pretty much at the same time, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes apart. And Mark, the husband of Lillian, was one of them. He was shot dead in the auto repair, I think, office that he worked in, like just sitting there. And he was
Pep
like,
Boys? Pep Boys?
Maybe. So he's at work and like just sitting at his desk, and he was just shot dead. And then some other people were shot dead, like all these people. So they were like, oh, okay, so how is this happening? And mind you, Ervil was dead already. Ervil died. But they were so brainwashed. It was actually one of his 50 children, one of his sons, that went out with the hits and shit. Jeez. So he was they called the 4 o'clock murders. He went around and killed, I think it was like 4 people he killed at 4 o'clock. And it was on Ervil's list that he said from jail, like, look, these people said they wasn't going to get me out of jail, so I need you to kill them all. So fuck them. And Mark was one of them, unfortunately. He ended up getting caught, and then I think like it was something like 15 years later or some shit like that. Another girl who is one of his daughters or some shit like that, she ended up getting caught. Pero like it was so crazy that he went, you know, because it was Mexico. So, you know, I got to put my Spanish in there. This motherfucker went to jail, but still somehow was able to carry out all these murders because he wrote. I
mean, that happens with a lot of people in jail.
He wrote a hit list because they were like, "Oh, he's our savior. He's this, he's that." Even though there was nothing that proved him to be anything. They were poor. The thing is, like, you know, most cults are about like making money and shit.
Yeah, like we have money.
No, these motherfuckers were poor.
So kids usually they you think their slogan be to all my killers in $100 bills.
Yeah, exactly. But no, not
That's
them.
The
they were poor as
ones,
fuck.
Guys,
like the kids talked about how they used to like go and hunt for food, and they would be dumpster diving and shit, and they never had a steady place to sleep. Like they didn't have any money. Like I don't even know why they really actually followed this man, and they were in Mexico, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Like they have no money. They was po. But yeah, so he haunted them from jail and from beyond the grave. The media dubbed him what they call him? The something Manson. The Mormon Manson.
The Mormon Manson.
The Mormon Manson
yes.
is what the media called him. Because he never actually committed a murder. He had all of his followers do it for him.
Yeah, he was the kingpin.
And he was dead, and people were still killing for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, the media dubbed him the Mormon Manson. all in the name of religion. And not to like, that just goes all into, just ties all into people that follow ridiculous shit. Even when people give you
talk
proof
about it
that you're fucking crazy, and you have all the proof in your face, but the people are still like, nope, I'm gonna still go with this because this is my truth,
because this man said it,
and
this man is my
and
prophet.
I'm gonna die for it or I'm gonna kill for it. And that is why I chose to talk about this crazy ass cult, because this week has been a week of crazy ass cult shit. And that is the end of my story, and that is the end of the show.
Thank you.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, if you're new, welcome.
If you're old, welcome back.
Old?
Like if you listened to us earlier.
Oh. I felt like you called them old.
No, new versus
if
old,
you're old
listeners. Old, if you're an
elderly.
old listener. And if you're elderly too, shout outs to you.
Yeah. Shout out to elderly.
Yeah.
We hope you made it this far in the show and you poured up an amaretto sour or something for yourself. So be sure to listen Melanin and Murder Pod on Apple and Spotify. Check us out on YouTube and follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
Melanin and Murder
Let
Pod.
us know if you like it too. Don't be afraid to talk to us. Like put some comments up in there. Like talk to us. We'll talk back.
Maybe.
I'll talk back.
All right, you can talk back. If they say something rude, I'm probably not going to respond.
No, then I'll block you, honestly. I've done it already.
God damn, we got blocks on our page?
Yeah, check it.
Okay, news to me. Well, don't get blocked, ho. So again, thank you so much for listening, and we're going to close this thing out.
So I'm Monee. Thanks for joining us.
And we are going to see y'all next week.